Hey, what's up? It's the first day of the new year, and I think it's time that I record myself. Doing this all wrong, having the light behind me. Maybe that helps a little bit. What did I do today? I slept a lot. Just kind of all I seem to do. Anytime I need to do something, I just get very sleepy. And I really, really miss being on ADHD medication, because I was able to be very productive. On Vyvanse, I was very productive. Where normally, if there's something that I needed to do, I'd get tired and I'd go to sleep and I'd take a nap, and then 3 hours later, I would be guilt-stricken because I'd slept through my day, didn't get anything done, and I would just repeat that over and over and over again. But on Vyvanse, I could be up all night trying to finish a task that I had set for myself. It was amazing. Just to be fucking cracked out and doing what I needed to do. And it didn't matter if there was some obstacle, because that's the thing, is I'm like, I'm gonna do this thing, and then I inevitably hit an obstacle, and then I'm demoralized and exhausted, and I kind of hang it up for another day. But on Vyvanse, I'm like, let's figure it out, and I keep going and going and going, and I will be up all night until I'm done. And it's so hard to go about life knowing that something like that exists in a pill form, and knowing that there are other people that are taking that pill, and that I don't have access to that. It requires me to have the funds to have a psychiatrist, diagnose me again, probably. I don't think they really care about anything previous to anything that happened with a previous psychiatrist. Like, every psychiatrist I'm going to go to, they're going to want to do their own evaluation, and it's going to be $300 or something. And then every time I want to see them after that, it'll also be hundreds of dollars. And the medication, that'll be hundreds of dollars. So I'm trying to live a life where I'm just raw dogging it, unmedicated, and trying to rely on my own mental capacities and thinking of all the natural ways that I can be that person who's really productive, and, you know, sleep hygiene, proper nutrition, being really organized, a lot of things that I'll admit I haven't really been doing. But once again, it comes back around to knowing that when I was taking Vyvanse, that anytime I kind of fell off some kind of wagon, that once I was medicated, I'd be like, it doesn't matter. Like, I don't need, oh, I do this and I do this and I do this. When I took the medication, it's like, just do it. Just do it. Like a normal, successful person, they just do it. And when I'm not medicated, it's me kind of sitting like, no, I need to wake up at this time and do it this way. And if I don't do it in this sequential order, then it's all mess and I'm frustrated and I'm gonna give up. And what choice do I have? I really don't see myself having a choice of going to a psychiatrist and getting this medication and spending hundreds of dollars on the whole process of it. The only way I see that happening is having a lot of money. How do I get a lot of money? One, work a lot, which these past 2 years really worked my ass off and don't have a lot to show for it. You know, I worked a lot to make sure that I could afford to live in this apartment by myself, and I don't even know if I'm even like really super proud of living in this apartment anymore. I'm kind of mad about a lot of things. A lot of things need to be replaced that I can't afford. There's a cockroach issue, which is a problem that I brought in from my workplace, working at Heritage, and that building has cockroaches. And at some point, one or two of them snuck into my bag, and I brought them home with me, and they made a home in this building. And I've tried to take care of the issue on my own. It's been a few days since I've seen any, so maybe some of the methods I've been using have been working, but you never know. There's always this fear that, you know, maybe they'll avoid my apartment and then go downstairs and have a heyday in my neighbor's apartment and then come back up to my apartment in a few months, and just this repeating cycle of roaches. And it's just really frustrating because it's not a cleanliness issue, it's an issue of an infestation that just came home with me, you know. So there have been a few reasons. So that was one factor in me not really wanting to get a roommate. The other is dealing with B. She was having a lot of accidents. She hasn't really had, well, she did shit on the floor a few days ago. So you never know, you know, she'll poop on the floor, she'll pee on the couch. All these things that I'm just like, I'm embarrassed. It's also a reason why I wouldn't really want to move into anyone else's home situation, because, you know, your cat pees or poops on something, it might as well be me who's doing the peeing and pooping and vomiting on furniture or whatever. Nobody cares where it came from. All they know is like, hey, this wasn't happening until you moved in, and now you moved in, and now there's poop and pee and vomit. We don't care if it's your cat, because you brought the cat, and the cat is your responsibility. So I'm kind of stuck with that, not really having a place that I could go, you know, unless I sequestered her in a bedroom, which maybe I could do that. Maybe I could do that if I moved to New York, or maybe I could do that. Move to Los Angeles. Do I regret not moving to Los Angeles? I guess, yeah. But I think if I had moved to Los Angeles, I would have felt, at this present moment, I think I would have still felt a lot of regret. I think I still would have been really frustrated, because I know if I would have moved to Los Angeles, it would have been in the middle of the strikes. You know, I did move to LA, and then 9 months later, there was the writer's strike, and then there was an actor's strike, and even now, the industry is still bouncing back, and there's not as many productions happening as there were in 2021, and even that was a recovery from the pandemic. So basically, it's been a mess since 2019. The other factor of me not wanting to get a roommate is to have privacy. Privacy to do what I'm doing now, which is talking into a camera. The only fucking thing about that is that even with the privacy that I've had for the last 2 years, I haven't uploaded one video to YouTube. I haven't made content online. So I've made this sacrifice to live alone and pay a shit ton of money to live alone for this idea of this creative freedom and this privacy that I felt that I needed, and I haven't utilized it. So now it's been 2 years of me living alone, and I really don't have a whole lot to show for it, and I'm really embarrassed by that. And now it's still on my mind. I'm like, hey, Zach, these bills are piling up. You're borrowing all this money. The only reason I'm afloat in any way is because my mom, my grandma, they've sent me in the last 2 months, like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, close to $1,000, which is a lot and not a lot of money. It's a lot of money. But it's not like other people aren't receiving insane amounts of money. It's kind of disgusting, the money that people receive. You know, their grandparent dies and suddenly they have $50,000 or $100,000 that is gifted to them, and nobody really talks about that. But that is the case for some individuals. I don't think that's really waiting for me. Perhaps, maybe. I feel very lucky to have a grandmother who's able to send me that kind of money. You know, a few $100s, but you know, when you think of the older generation, you know, they made their money as factory. You know, they worked in a factory. Those jobs don't really exist today, I don't think. But somehow they saved. I don't know where the money's coming from. They saved, they lucked out, they were white, bought a house, cheap, paid it off. They got Social Security. I probably won't have Social Security. Millennials are not gonna have Social Security. Mostly because we're all gonna live to be like 200 years old. So you can't like retire at 65 and then just like hang out for 100 years after that. I think, yeah, we're gonna keep pushing the retirement age further and further and further, just because people are gonna be living longer. And like quality life too. Like, you know, we're gonna be 65. I'm gonna be 65 and I'm probably gonna look like this in some way. Like, there's just way more science. We know a lot more about aging, and it's only going to get better in the next few decades. Like, I'm doing a skincare routine that there was only a very small demographic of people that were doing a skincare routine in the 20th century. In the 21st century, now you got 5-year-olds who are, you know, moisturizing, and they're not going to have any wrinkles, you know, as they age. So I'm definitely prepared to kind of look 30-something until I'm in my 60s. And I think by the time I'm in my 60s, then I can continue to do rejuvenating procedures, whatever those may be, 30 years from now. I might be able to get a total skin regraph, but I think it'll be like at a molecular level. I think we'll be able to reverse signs of aging from like manipulating our DNA. That kind of seems like the way that we're gonna go. So I'm very prepared to look like I'm in my 30s. But I'm also like, old dudes are cool. I'm ready to be an old dude too. I don't want gray hair, but if it happens, I think I'd rock it. So. Wow. 17 minutes into this video, and I'm kind of proud of myself. I don't totally hate the words coming out of my mouth. I don't totally hate the person in the camera. This is super cringe. I didn't want to do it, but it is. I do have to go with the energy of January 1st, New Year's Day. Go with that energy of like, hey bitch, do you want to go another year without posting any content, and then looking back, being like, oh shit, that was the path, that was what I needed to do. I needed to just put my face in front of a camera and talk, but I was too afraid to do that, so I never did it. And here I am looking for a job. I'm on Craigslist. I'm looking, let me be a busser, let me be a dishwasher, let me walk your dog, let me clean your house. Like, all these things are fine and dandy, but it's like, I don't want to just keep spinning my wheels. I don't want like to just be like, oh, how do I pay my rent? How do I pay my rent? It's like, I wasn't put on earth to clean someone else's house. Like, that was not, everything that came before this moment was preparing me for a better life than that. No shame in that, but I need to come to terms with the fact that what I get is what I went out wanting. Like, when I didn't end up going to Los Angeles and I was staying in Las Vegas and then I came back, I wrote down, I'm like, okay, what I need immediately is I need to get a job as a barista and get a job as a busser, because those jobs will be very easy to acquire. I won't have to go through 3 interviews just to be denied and spend months and months unemployed. I'm like, I need to get a job immediately. So I need to be in the food industry, because that's what most of my resume is made up of. And guess what? It worked out that way. I got a job as a barista and I got a job as a busser at a really nice restaurant. And I made like a decent amount of money, and I was surviving, and it was, it was really hard work. The busing, I eventually quit that job because the restaurant was terrible. but it was a really great restaurant in the city, and I really wanted to work my way up and be a server there, but it just wasn't in the cards, and I was like, this is really toxic, I need to get out of this. But I'm like, thinking back, and it's like, I got what I wanted. What I set out to do was be a busser, be a barista. And the logic behind that too was, you know, I could be a barista in the morning and I could be a busser in the evening. So I could, you know, kind of work a double shift, because I was like, okay, well, in order to survive, I need to work really, really hard all day for 14 hours or whatever. Turns out that's not even the case. I mean, right now I'm like really like not in a good place. But I mean, since May, so for like 7-8 months, I've only been working as a barista, making not a lot of money. And like I said, I've gotten some help from my grandmother, and I've gotten some help from my mom, you know, a few $100s here and there. I've had to borrow some money, you know, some shady cash advance websites, you know, a few $100s here and there. There was one that I didn't do, you know, I was like, oh, I just need like an extra $300, and I was, you know, approved for a loan. But then I looked at it, and in the span of paying off that loan in 6 months, I would be paying $500 in interest. So I would be getting the initial $300, and then I pay back $800. And I'm like, that? Why would anyone agree to that? If I wasn't thinking, if I was like, oh yeah, I need this money right now. Like, but shit, what a mess. And that was with $300. Like, what if people they're trying to get out a couple $1,000s for a loan? Oh my God. Try to get out a $1,000 loan and you're paying back $5,000? It's predatory. I'm sure people do it. But not me, because I am of some intelligence. I did take an IQ test a few weeks ago, and I got 136. I didn't know what that meant, but apparently above the 130 range is very gifted, very smart, which I've always known about myself, but I've never taken an IQ test. So now that's nice to just kind of like have in my back pocket. I'm watching Survivor right now, and they've divided all the participants into 3 different groups. So there's the beauty, brawn, and brains. So it's like the one group is like they're very beautiful, the other group they're like, we are just very strong, and then the other group is the brains. So their whole group is, oh, they have, you know, an IQ of 130 and above. And they're actually doing pretty terrible. In the first 2 episodes they lose the first 2 challenges, and they have to vote 2 people off already. And they're just kind of dumb. Some of them are. I mean, some of them are smart, but it was interesting. Like, right? Like, what the fuck does IQ mean? What intelligence? I don't know. I would definitely be all 3. I'm beautiful, smart. Right now, I'm not super strong. I'm very skinny right now, but I could be brawn. I'm feeling good about this video. What if I'm just a person who just talks to the camera like this and does minimal editing, and it's just like a video diary? I think that'd be cool. I've been doing a lot of reading, and I think that's really helped my placement of sounds in my mouth and not tripping over my my lips, my teeth, or the tip of my tongue. The lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue, the lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue, the lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue, the lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue, the lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue, the lips, I think I want to make a goal for 30 minutes. I think a 30-minute video diary. A 30-minute video diary, but before that, maybe I do an entry in my digital journal. I think that could be really great. So what I'll do, I want to do my morning pages. I want to do 2 morning pages in my notebook. And then I'll do that in the morning before 10 a.m. ideally. Obviously I could do it 11 a.m., but I feel like by 11 a.m. it's like you really need to be moving on. You shouldn't, I don't need to be doing my morning pages at 11. That's basically the afternoon at that point. But I'll do my morning pages, and then in the evening, I'll do my digital journal. I'll have my little Carrie Bradshaw moment. Maybe type in front of a window or something. She types in the evening, I remember that. And then I will sit in front of a camera, have my thoughts a little bit more organized. I'm actually pretty giddy with the fact that I'm just like talking in front of a camera. When I set this up, I'm like, I'm not gonna be able to talk for too long, but turns out I got a lot to talk about. I think I've been very stunted with, I don't know, whatever the vocal chakra is, it's been impaired. And I'm here to fix that. I'm really giddy about the idea of what if I make this a part of my practice. I get really comfortable with talking. I get really comfortable with telling stories. I get really comfortable in front of a camera because I don't really feel that way. Last night was New Year's Eve, and I was mostly tongue-tied. I didn't really, I don't recognize myself, and maybe this is the way it's always been. I think I've always been very shy, but I think I do have a lot to talk about, and I think I'm ready for 2025 for it to all erupt out of me. To be a person who can command a stage or even a small circle of people. I'm excited for coherent thoughts. And I think it just takes practice. And I think a major factor is that I've been a fucking stoner for the past decade. And most of that time has been me realizing, hey, you should probably stop this. My internal GPS is telling me, hey, make a U-turn, turn around, stop smoking weed, you're going in the wrong direction. And me kind of like ignoring that and being like, I'm gonna keep driving down the weed road. Down the weed road, down the weed road. I haven't smoked weed in a few days. I did drink last night, even though I said I wasn't going to internally. I didn't say it out loud. But I was afraid. I was like, I'm so boring. I have nothing to talk about. My life is so lame. I've been in survival mode for several months. Just months of me, I can't do anything. I can't make any move because I don't have 2 pennies to rub together. I can't pay my rent. And I'm not gonna live like that anymore. This month I'm very relieved. I looked at the calendar and I'm gonna have 3 paydays this month rather than just 2. Just because that's how the calendar worked out. So I'm getting paid this Friday. I'll be able to pay last month's rent with the money I get this Friday. And then I have 2 more paychecks coming in January. And so hopefully by the end of that second paycheck, I'll just be able to pay my rent for January. And something good will come. Something good will come. I don't know what it's gonna be. I'll keep an eye out for a menial job. You know, if there's like a restaurant that I really want to work at that's posting, or some other weird gig, sure, I'll do it, you know, to make a little extra money. But for the most part, I really just want to build up myself as a content creator. I really want to build up my audience. I want to be talking to the camera like this and, you know, putting up evidence that I am a filmmaker. It hasn't felt like that for a while, but it's been a bit of time of being asleep and kind of forgetting everything that came before. But it's like I am a filmmaker. I am a filmmaker, and as long as I have a camera in my hand, I'm gonna be a filmmaker. I'm sure I'm gonna watch this back and be like, wow, that audio is terrible. But baby steps. You can't be perfect on day 1 of the new year. I'm excited. What if I do this every day for 30 minutes? What does that look like 365 days from now? I probably will come off like fucking, I don't know, Oprah or someone. We'll see. But I'm gonna keep doing this. Probably not gonna get roommates, because I think if I had a roommate, I wouldn't feel as free as I do now. And even now, I don't feel super free. I'm still kind of like in my little bedroom that is the most sound secure, and I don't really have to worry about my downstairs neighbors hearing me, even though they don't fucking care. And they just have their dogs barking all the time. They don't care. But yeah, we'll see. I think getting roommates will just kind of put me back to a very mediocre position in life. And I need to be in a place where it's like, no, I have my own place. I make my own rules. I do what I need to do when I need to do it. Everything is on my schedule. I don't need to explain myself, yada, yada, yada. So no to roommates. And I'm just gonna, you know, make sure every day I'm kind of looking for a new gig. I need to make that a priority of job hunting. I don't know for how long. I don't know. 30 minutes? An hour of job hunting. I think that makes sense. And not just like job hunting, but also, you know, resume building, auditioning, that counts as job hunting. Interviews. Yeah, I think devoting an hour a day, 7 hours a week to trying to find the next job, trying to find the next payday, I think I'll be okay if I do that. I think that's a good, healthy goal. I am so excited for healthy goals. Okay, we'll see how this video turned out. Bye.